So now we're heading more into the territory of the wolves, and there's actually a new mechanic that's introduced in this level. That's only in this level, but it's an interesting one. Uh-oh. It's getting cold, and Sparkster's rocket pack can't work in the cold, apparently. At least not when he's flying around. Ow. So yeah, now that we're in the cold wilderness of the wolf territory, we have to use these torches to replenish Sparkster's rocket fuel. Otherwise, when it's cold, it won't replenish. And the level does have a nice little effect of the frost around the HUD and his Sparkster's health bar, which is a nice touch. Ah! Having some trouble here. See, the thing is, you can't be too reckless with your rocketing in this level, otherwise you'll run out of it quickly, especially when you do moves like the spinning and boosting. However, there are fuel pickups right here that you can grab. So the game is at least pretty lenient in how you can rocket around, and it does provide pickups when you do need them. If you need them, that is. Though it does make you wonder how Sparkster's rocket technology even works, because it seems to be... its power source seems to be self-replenishing, yet it can't function in cold. And when it doesn't function properly in the cold like this, it doesn't replenish, but it still works just fine. But the replenishing feature is frozen. But how does it even work in the first place? Like, how does it even self-replenish? I don't know. At this point, I'm just questioning the logistics of the technology of the jetpack and everything in this world now. And oh geez. So now we have more moving platforming, some more classic, you know, platformer stuff, and rotating platforms as well. And these guys are a little bit of a pain, and oh crap. Luckily, if you fall into bottomless pits like that, it just takes away a heart and doesn't, you know, take away a life. So it's kind of like Legend of Zelda, the 3D Legend of Zelda is if you like fall in the lava or something, you'll just reappear again with like a heart or something taken away. So at least that's fair in this regard, because the only game where I know of where if you fall and lose a life was the Genesis Sparkster, especially in the pyramid level, because having a bottomless pit in a pyramid made total sense, right? Ah, come on. There we go. I just need to do some more ricocheting, and there's a health, but I can't quite get it, and I do need it, so let's just replenish our rocket and just get that. There we go. One thing about Sparkster's rocket meter is when it's near full, it replenishes more slowly. Not really sure why, but it just kind of does that. It's like it just slows down as it's just nearing full completion, both when it's just regularly filling up or when you're by a torch replenishing it. And we have some lovely rotating platforms, and oh shit. Well, that went well. Luckily, we can just keep going at the loss of a heart. What I wanted to do was get over here. Lots of red gems and health over here. I'll admit, while the platforming in this game is still pretty samey, at least this mechanic does sort of mix things up a little bit. So there is a little bit of variety anyway in this game. What am I doing? Just jumping there for no reason. There. Just go up there. Sheesh. But as I was saying, but this mechanic and things like this are only really just in one level. Ah, what am I doing? I'm just going all over the place. Oh, wow. Okay, I should stop getting distracted by my own ineptitude here. And get an extra life for my trouble. So as I was saying, some mechanics like the frozen rocket pack and the fuel pickups are only in this level. So it is kind of like a one-time gimmick kind of thing in this game, but that's not bad really. And there's a couple ninja wolves down there along with these rotating torches. Makes you wonder what the purpose of all this is, but that's just platformers for you. Luckily with jumping down you can just swing your sword and take care of these guys pretty easily. So let's just ride this, and I forgot about those ninja wolves there. They actually blended in pretty well there, and I didn't quite see them right away. But we don't really need to kill them, so we can just move on. And now we're inside the fortress finally, which is full of wolves and bombs. And oh great, we have another one of these things to deal with. Ow! Okay, let's try and... okay, yeah, whatever. We used up all of our rocket in that fight too. See, this is where things get a little bit tricky with those guys, because not only do you have a limited amount of rocketing, but you have to deal with them at the same time. So you just have to be a bit more conservative with your rocketing, because while they're more powerful attacks, they're kind of restricted a little bit in this level. And so we take care of these bombs. And we have more ninja wolves and things like that, and more ricocheting, except with bombs. Lovely. Just make sure I just top off my rocket before I get going. Another thing I like about the heads-up display is Sparkster's face kind of gets frozen as well. It's kind of funny looking. And these rooms have a bunch of cannons we need to avoid their fire. They have a pretty simple pattern though. But later on their patterns get a little bit trickier to try and avoid everything at once. Like here there's cannons that are shooting both at you and above you. And I always get hit once no matter what, because avoiding that barrage is a little bit tricky, though if you just watch the pattern carefully, I'm pretty sure you can get through without getting hit. But even then, most of it's still a pretty simple pattern that you can just go through if you're just careful with your jumping and things like that. Ah, come on, go up. Okay, so we have... ah, great. I don't have enough rocket fuel. I gotta go replenish it. See, this is why you need to be careful with your rocketing, otherwise you're forced to go back. And wait for it to top off. It's a little bit annoying for it to go back fully when it goes slower when it's near full. And with this guy, you want to lead him over here, because below this part there's a pit of bombs, and that's pretty much what it's designed for, to lead him into it so you can get rid of him easily. Because if you just go all out on him, you're just going to lose a lot of health. And rawr, yeah, rawr at me, and then just fall on the bombs. Heh. Okay, so now we have an elevator shaft, and we all know what that means in video games. It means we have to deal with a whole bunch of enemies to deal with. As you defeat more enemies, more parts of the level come in, but of course that means more enemies as well. So they pretty much just throw everything at you. Regular wolves, dark wolves, dynamite throwing wolves, missile wolves, all sorts of wolves. And let's try and get that health before we die. There we go. The level also provides... this part also provides some rocket replenishment as well. Because, after all, you only have so much rocketing, and it's easier to attack them with rocketing, but of course you have to be careful not to use it all right away. And this room here, we have to deal with another one of these guys. And the best way to deal with it is just get over it and just rocket him and then retreat. That's the best way you should do it. I didn't do it the best there, and now the elevator's going up, and we have to deal with all sorts of enemies. And I think that's it? Yeah, that's it, actually. So after that onslaught, oh, yeah, that would be the leader. He doesn't sound too thrilled. And with that, we completed the last regular stage. Of this world, anyway. Okay, now we have the boss fight, which is, well, the Wolf King. Which is a fairly interesting boss. It's done a little bit differently than most conventional bosses, as we'll see here in a second. There he is. Hey, doggy. Or Wolfie. Whatever. Oh no. It's the leader that you're surprised to see, even though you were going to face him anyway, Sparkster. Now, with the Wolf King, you can't damage him by boosting into more, hitting him with your sword or anything. What you need to do is, you can do a couple things to damage him. One is, he'll throw dynamite now and then, which you can throw back at him. Another is to avoid his charge attacks and have him run into things. There's also a third method that you can do to damage him, but it's a little bit trickier to do. And it's the method you use to unlock the hard levels for the next world. And now and then he'll reset the platforms here to throw down blocks and things here. And okay, we just got fit. There. He ran into the wall there. That took a little bit of his health. Luckily there's plenty of torches nearby, so you don't have to worry too much about your rocket gauge, but you just have to keep in mind that you won't be able to replenish it while you're running around. You have to stay in the torches for a little bit to fully replenish it. And this guy's always on the move, but he's not too bright, as you can see. He'll just run straight into blocks if you provoke him. See, I'm trying to get him to fall beneath those blocks that you can destroy beneath them, and you can make them fall, and that causes quite a bit of damage. But getting that is a little bit tricky. Just again, just stay still in one spot rather than have you swing around. Ow. This guy's throwing a lot of dynamite, which you can chuck back at him, thankfully. That one's probably the easiest one to do damage to him, at least the most direct way to damage him. And now you pretty much just have to run and hope that he runs into blocks. Or you can just stop and, like, clip through it for some reason. This level is also not too badly designed, in which there are plenty of ways for you to go around, and there we go, we got him there. That's how you make him fall, and that does quite a bit of damage, and he's almost dead. One more attack should do it. Yep, that went right over him. There we go. Oh, we got him. And once again, we'll just be sticking on normal. And yeah, the only thing that you can collect in this game, or in these stages, are heart medallions, which sometimes are sort of in hidden areas, or sometimes they appear when enemies or when bosses do certain things. Like sometimes when blocks fall down with this boss, he'll sometimes make heart medallions appear. And so he surrenders, but unfortunately Swinehart won't have any of that, and he just bitch slaps him away. And oh no, Axel comes in, and yeah, that happened. And gee, what a twist. It turns out they're evil and they want to take over, and they just toss Sparkster aside. Oh noes.